Reviews. Today we're not in the kitchen, so that must means we're talking about something that I've been and done. And as you probably just saw in the little intro, we're talking about Peakender, which we visited a couple of weeks ago, and it is located in Bakewell in Derbyshire. So let's go into a bit more information about Peakender, my thoughts, my opinions of the event, and whether I should recommend it for you to go to next year. So Peakender is an event that is run by Thornbridge, a brewery located in Bakewell as well. Have been running the event for 9 years now. This was their ninth year. Hasn't always been in the same location where it was this year. And previously it was where their original brewery was at Thornbridge Hall, hence the name where Thornbridge got the name from. But a few years ago now, they moved it from Thornbridge Hall to Bakewell Showground, which allowed them to have a bit more space, a bit more flexibility with what they can do in the area, because they were quite restricted before with numbers and where they could fit stuff. So how does it work? So Peakender, you can buy day tickets, which the event takes place on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. You can buy a weekend ticket that, I don't know if it makes it any cheaper, but you can buy a weekend ticket so you can attend all 3 days. And you can also stay overnight by camping in the nearby field for, I think it was around 30-ish pounds, 30, 40 pounds for the 3 nights to stay, which is not a bad deal really. So talking of camping, it's really well located. The event, the arena as I'll call it, where all the bars, the stages, the entertainment was literally a stone's throw away from where we pitched our tent. But the field that you can pitch your tent up in is quite large. You can stay further away from the arena if you want, if you think you might get disturbed by noise later in the evening, as the event does run. It did run each day, well, on the Friday and the Saturday until about 11 p.m. and on Sunday it closed at 6 p.m. So it was stayed on quite late Friday and Saturday night. So if you were worried about noise, you could pitch further away. We were party animals, so we wanted to pitch quite close to make sure that we didn't have to, any stuff we wanted to take in with us, we didn't have to drag far distances, realistically. So now I've talked about where we stopped. Now let's talk about the event itself. So Peakender is realistically a beer festival. So there's lots of places to grab a beer. There was 3 bars. You had the Wild Swan Inn, the Peakender Tavern, and the Jaipur Arms. Each one of them was in like a big marquee. You had the bar at the end, and then there was a undercover bit where most of the day people just, if they wanted to get away from the sun or get away from the rain, it did rain on the Friday, but to get away from that, there's a bit of space where you could put your camping stools underneath that. But in the evenings, that's a large area for where they would have a DJ on and play music. So essentially it becomes a dance floor in the evening. But the 3 bars all offer pretty much different beers. There was a few beers that were on in different tents in different bars, kind of like your Jaipur. They had a Peakender Pale. I saw that in a few. So there was a few duplications, but 99% of the time, every bar had their own different beers, and they were rotating beers throughout the weekend. Some I saw stay Friday, Saturday, and then when I came to try and get them on Sunday, they had gone. Some I saw stay throughout the whole time. So it really kind of, as with kind of any beer festival, you have a big list of all the beers that you could have, and whether they're on the bar or not at that time is kind of, luck of the draw. But there was around 80 plus beers. I think it was about 86 in total. So there was plenty to choose from. I never had a point where I had the same beer multiple times. I was always having something different, which is a brilliant thing for anyone that wants to go and try a lot of different beers. And the price wasn't too bad either, around £5-6 a pint, depending on which drink you went for, what ABV, all that kind of stuff. Behind each bar, there was a lot of non-beer choices, like cocktails in cans, there was wine in cans, there was, I never know how to pronounce it, the Schofferhofer, the sort of 2.5% Radler, I guess, the German Radler with grapefruit and lemon. So that was a nice option for people who didn't want to, drink really high percentage beers. So it's not just a beer festival. Obviously, that is the key focus and the key points. But if you don't drink beer, there is going to be something for you to drink, almost certainly. So at Peakender, there was one main stage which had live music on in the evenings, sort of from about 6 o'clock. And there was about 2 or 3 bands each night that had different variety of music. One was a rock band, one was a soul group, one was a Arctic Monkeys tribute. So there was really quite a lot of variety and choice for music lovers, I guess. The bands were really high quality. Sometimes we struggled to know if it was a band playing or they were just pumping the song through the speakers, like the actual original song. So the quality of the bands were fantastic. In terms of other entertainment, there was also a dog show on Sunday, which was really fun and quite entertaining. There was a kids tent that had kids entertainment, like kids, not clowns, but kids performers. As well as in the evenings, the kids tent on Friday and Saturday night turned into a comedy venue. So there really is a lot to get your teeth into at Peakender, but not enough, not too much to be panicking that you're not going to get everything done. You could take it at your own pace. You could just chill out and drink some beers for a bit, nip over to have a look at the dog show, or in the evenings just sit and chill with the music, and then later in the evenings go to either dance at the DJs, as I mentioned before, in the tents, or go and watch some comedy. So there really was quite a lot for everyone to do. One thing that I definitely recommend you should do if you do go to Peakender is book onto some of the tastings, the beer tastings. So this year they've changed it up, and actually you don't need to pay to do any of the tastings. Previously it was like a £5 per tasting kind of deal. So when they announced that and when I saw that, I was a little bit worried about what the tastings were going to entail, whether they were going to be any high quality, whether it was just going to be, pop into this tent, grab a beer and go away. But no, all of the talks were incredibly insightful, interesting, and very generous. Like, we got quite a good amount of free beer. Like, they handed out a tasting at the start. They did a talk about it. You could taste the beer whilst you were being talked through the process and the tasting the tasting notes. And there was times where they kept coming in and saying, "Yeah, feel free to grab another one," and came round and topped the glasses up. So it was extremely generous for the tastings, especially since they didn't cost anything. So that is pretty much it for what I'm going to say about Peakender. The only thing I'm going to come down to now is really how much it cost. And overall, it was just under £100 a person. That includes the camping pitch, the weekend ticket, the car parking, all that, everything basically. Which I don't think is a bad price. Like, there was plenty enough on, the music's on the stage, and the tastings definitely made that worth it. If it was that much, and then I had to pay a load of money for tastings, and it might be a different story, but with the tastings being free of charge now, I think it was definitely worth the money. So would I recommend Peakender? Absolutely. If you like beer, if you like camping, if you like music, if you like entertainment, there is something really there for everyone at Peakender. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Cheers.